Hi all, welcome to my new show called PleightPad. Around here we use weird controllers to play modern games. I've always had this strange fascination to play games with the wrong controller. I felt it's about time that I share that enjoyment with the world. Today I'd like to make Minecraft Bedrock Edition playable on the NES controller. I had a plan going into this video so that everything would go smoothly. The hardware I have available is the controller for the NES Classic Edition and a Windows computer. The NES Classic Edition was released by Nintendo in 2016 and eventually sold again in 2018. The port for the NES Classic controller is the exact same port that the Wii Remote takes. Hilariously enough, you are able to plug into the Wiimote and it is recognized as a Wii Classic Pro controller. The NES controller has a total of 8 possible outputs. It is the 4 directions: start, select, A, and B. That's it. Minecraft needs at least 2 directional inputs. Walking around and looking around might be a bit tough. To make this work, we might need a bit of help. The software I have available is a program known as WinUPro, linked in the description. It is an open source Windows app made by KeyPuncher. This wondrous application allows people to use virtually any Nintendo controller on Windows games. It allows me to apply whatever button mappings I would like. It even allows me to use something known as shift states. This feature of WinUPro will make Minecraft playable with the NES controller. Shift states could be easily explained by the keyboard. The shift key on the keyboard can change the output of specific keys. For example, it could change the 1 key into an exclamation point, or change the casing on a letter. The same can be true on a controller. I can sacrifice a button on the controller to be the shift button. When it is pressed, I can change the layout of the entire controller. WinUPro gives me access to 4 shift states, but I really only need 2. This gives me access to 7 new buttons per shift state, giving me a total of 14 buttons as opposed to the previous 8. Disclaimer, WinUPro detects the NES Classic controller as the Wii Pro controller, but I assure you, I'm using the NES Classic controller. Unfortunately, the NES does not have a joystick, but the directional pads will do just fine. I chose the B button to be the shift state button. Some of you might suggest I have it as select, but this means I would have to take my thumb away from the directional pad to shift states, which would not be at all comfortable. My goal here is to play with the NES controller as it was intended to be held. I left A on shift state 1 as simply A. I refuse to use auto jump on Minecraft. I need my jump button. Select on shift state 1 is left trigger, or the interact button. Start on shift state 1 is right trigger, or the attack and mine button. The directional pad in shift state 1 is walking around in each respective direction. In shift state 2, I have A mapped to one of the bumpers, so I could cycle my items in my hotbar. The directional pad on shift state 2 is looking around. I have start mapped to X, or the crafting and inventory menu. Finally, select on the NES controller is B, which is the crouch button. While the crouch button is not entirely that useful, I do need the B button to get out of pesky menus. Another thing to note, some of you may suggest I control Minecraft like SNES Doom. Up and down on the D-pad would be move forward and back, and left and right would be look left and right, which is a great idea. However, this does not allow me to look up or down, and will lead to trouble very quickly. Case in point, I'm currently dying to 3 spiders I can't aim at.
Jesus, so many spiders.
Minecraft is entirely playable on the NES controller, and I somehow found it quite comfy. However, this method is not at all preferable. I have to constantly shift between 2 controller states just to move around. The way I mapped it, you would not be able to access the pause menu, but you'll at least, in theory, be able to beat the dragon if you're skilled enough. I wish those of you brave enough to try this the best. I would rate the NES controller a solid 6 out of 10. Comfortable, playable, but a bit awkward if you're trying to play any modern game with it. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions for better key mappings, and give this video a like if you so choose. If you like gaming music, be sure to check out my music channel Plate4. It's pretty cool! Thanks for watching and have a nice rest of your day.